Hey, what's up, guys? It's Leopoldo. We are back at SM for the 2 pull. Ultimately, you do want to work your way up to doing the 1 pull. However, if you're not feeling too confident or if you're lacking some resist gear, then this is the way that I like to do it. First things first is tag that mob right when you walk in, because they will attack your lobies as soon as they go in, so make sure you pull him along. Then neat little trick that I like to do here when you have a wizard on this first room is to Nova him separately, so you can kind of use him as a little mana battery as you do this first kill. This room is just a basic Nova and Blizzard, it's nothing to worry about. There's ways to actually do this and carry these mobs through to the actual pull. However, I don't like to do that. I like to just get out of the way and have my lobies have a little spot to sit and wait in. I go over all the gear and talents in my old video on the 1 pull, so go check that out if you're watching this one and you're not really sure what to do. So basically what's going on here is you're going to use all of your usual mage stuff. So that's ice armor, dampen magic, all the goodies. And you're going to run through here and you're just going to pull this very first courtyard. You're going to be tanking the mobs a bit more than you would in the 1 pull. However, that's okay. Just make sure you use your mana shield a lot more than you would in the 1 pull. You also want to make sure Frost Ward is up at all times. So running in here, you're just going to start pulling the right side kind of willy-nilly. You don't have to think of some precise way of doing this. Just make sure you get all of the mobs on the right side. Don't leave any stragglers. You're going to bring them all around, and you can tag the pat that comes down the staircase if you can. But you just Nova them in place, and then you move over to the other side. Be careful about when you use your shields here. You want to have them up and ready for when they all converge on you. Like I said before, I go over all the gearing in the 1 pull video, but having a PvP trinket or living action potions is crucial for this. So round them all up, make sure you have enough health, and Nova them in place. Then you can just run along the fountain and Blizzard them here. And just like on the other side, you can pull the pat that comes down the staircase if you want. So right when they're about to start coming up along the fountain towards you, you want to jump back off. You want to be hopping back and forth really quickly. Unfortunately for me here, I only have one wizard, so I'm not regaining too much mana off of him hitting me. However, it's fine. Just keep moving back and forth as quick as you can to keep them up towards the top. That'll keep them grouped up very nicely for you. Keep an eye out for defenders. They will silence you to all frost schools of magic for like 8 seconds. So if that happens, you want to cold snap to get out of it. So that's the first and the easiest part of the pull done. Now we got to go up and open up the cathedral doors and then set up for the second part. Make sure you don't pull any mobs here, otherwise you got to reset or kill them in place. There is always one life root that spawns in this dungeon, so if you're an herbalist, go ahead and grab that. And if you're planning to do Mara pulls, then it's necessary for nature protection pots. So make sure you grab those and get stocked up. This is the pat on the staircase that I was talking about. If you are trying to run past him, you can just stay to the left side along the wall and you should be able to walk right by him. Otherwise, you can just save him for later. Refresh in your dampen magic if you need to, throw on an ice barrier, and if you can afford to do so, you can wait on the frost ward. However, if you have really low frost resist, then you might want to have that up and ready. Otherwise, I like to save it for when I'm right heading into the cathedral, so that I don't need to refresh it in the middle of the cathedral. Pull the first mob with a frostbolt, and then you can just start pulling mobs along the alley here. Try and take as many shortcuts as possible when you're moving. This will make the mobs a little bit confused on you. So pull out as many mobs as you can in this courtyard, and then jump Arcane Explosion in the middle there so you can get both sides of the door. Then you're running behind the altars here. Make sure you throw on a fresh ice barrier, have Frost Ward up, and maybe a mana shield if you need to. And then Nova them when they all get close. Then you're going around the other side, tagging all the mobs, and then blink out of there as soon as you can. This is your sketchiest spot, so you want to get out of there. Pull the farthest mob you can with a counterspell, but don't worry about pulling everything. It's about getting the motion first. Then you're coming up to a point where you're about to ice block, so make sure you have a ice barrier ready, and then a frost ward and a mana shield if you need it. I like to pop potions and mana gems right here if you are running low, so you can survive this hit. So you're going to come out of the ice block, and then Nova, and then start running away. Now right here you can see I get a straggler. If that happens to you, you jump up onto the fountain, that sends them running back the other side. Normally this isn't a problem, but sometimes the mobs can get behind you. It's another good thing to know is if you let the mobs get too close to you, they will run behind you, and that can completely screw your pull. So just be quick jumping back and forth and keep them towards the top of the fountain. Other than that, the 2 pull is pretty simple, and it gives you good practice for doing the 1 pull, which, like I said earlier, you do want to work your way towards doing that. And I also recommend watching that video if you're only watching this one. The 1 pull video, I go a lot more in depth, and it is a lot more informative on the intricacies of doing this pull. I still like to keep it visual, but it has a lot more information that'll be useful even for this 2 pull. So you can run in and Cone of Cold or Arcane Explosion to finish these mobs up. However, you can just sit back in Blizzard as long as you've kept the mobs up towards the top. That way, when they get done fleeing, they'll run right back into position. Whereas if you let them get closer to you and they start fleeing, then they'll kind of run and scatter. And then they're a bit more of a handful to deal with. But other than that, this is not too much to deal with. You guys should be able to figure it out, and I hope you do. Thanks for watching.